Hello there, YouTube. Alpha 16 Gradelock. We're here with one of the members, John, over here. He's one of the top 16, which made the top 8 at this past weekend's ARG Nationals in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the deck that you were running for this event was?
I can't even flip it up.
Okay. OTT. So this deck was a pretty interesting build. You, along with the one other OTT that made it into top 16. So let's get started with the starter.
For the starter, we have Little Witch Lulu because it's kind of the core of the deck.
Okay.
It plays into another card. Kind of everybody knows what it is, but
yeah,
its effect, it's not a normal Forerunner. It only comes out of the soul when you ride a grade 3.
Okay.
And when it goes to the rear guard, you can Soul Blast 2 and then draw a card.
Okay.
So I guess it's okay because your opponent can't snipe it out.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It always gives you a good booster throughout the game, and that +1 for the draw is always nice.
So it's a really nice counter for the early game when they try and retire stuff.
Yeah, but the main thing about it is that Soul Blast 2, and we can get into that right after
later.
this grade 3, but
alright,
I will show one of the main ones.
Alright, so first up, the grade 3 lineup. It looks like we're going reverse this time.
Yep.
Alright, so this is...
Sword, Supreme Heavenly Battle Deity Susanoo.
Alright, so
that's the break stride of OTT.
Alright, so his skill.
The main one that you're going to use. On stride, you counterblast 1, and then you check the top 2 cards of your deck and you add 1 to your hand.
So pretty much it pays for your stride cost in a way.
It's a nice +1.
Yes.
Like, the thing about this deck that I love is that you can keep digging for everything that you need, all your pieces. It's the fact that it's not, like, random draw.
Yes.
You can get whatever you want by just digging. Like, by this card's effect, all the other cards that just look at the top of your deck, you can get your perfect guards, your toms, your 8Ks, just by digging, which is really good.
Yes,
and it's a +1 on stride, which is always nice. And choice draw is always a nice thing.
Yes, choice draw, we'll call it that.
Yes, and the other part of his effect, the thing that you're not going to use too much, but it did win me one of my games.
Okay.
It's GB2. When it's during any point in your turn, if your hand is 4 cards or more, it gains +5 in a crit. That includes after dry checks.
Yes, so you have 2 cards, immediately becomes a 16 on his own with the crit.
Yeah, and with booster, it's 21 with the crit, which is really nice numbers.
Alright, and the other grade 3 of the deck?
Which is the reason we run the Little Witch Lulu.
Okay.
Scarlet Witch CoCo.
Which pretty much performs the ginger part of basic gingers.
Its effect. The first one, if your soul has no cards in it, it swings for 13.
Alright, that's a good start.
So it's a good swing on its own. It could always hit the Vanguard. But the main thing that you want to abuse is when you ride it, you can counterblast 2 if you have 1 or no soul.
Okay.
And you draw 2 cards.
Alright.
Comboing that with Little Witch Lulu, essentially what you would do is you ride CoCo, you move this out, you Soul Blast 2, you have no soul now, because that was your grade 1 and your grade 2 ride, and then you counterblast 2 and you draw 2, so you essentially draw 3.
Gotcha. So you're immediately getting 5 cards on your turn, including your twin drive.
Some people say that this is bad because you end up with a 10k base Vanguard.
Yes, so 10k base.
And like the main problem that I've seen with this deck is that a lot of 10k attackers are still prevalent.
Yes, that's
so they
true.
Still attack it. But the thing about it is, it gives me something to do if I go first. If when my opponent is playing chicken, it at least gives me something to plus off of if I can't stride.
Yes, okay.
And it allows me to build up my hand and then allow me to full on attack them after I gain my resources, which is something good about CoCo. And even if you're still able to stride, you drew 3 cards and then you're going to try to check 3 cards.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So it's good when you're not striding, and it's good when your opponent's playing chicken.
Okay.
That's the main thing about it.
When you say playing chicken is like if they try and...
If they stay at grade 2.
Oh, okay, so they grade lock themselves in a way.
So that I can't stride, because apparently that's a popular thing to do that.
It's anti when you're not ready. Alrighty, so grade 2 lineup, the insurance policy of the deck.
The ace card of the deck, Silent Tom. Essentially, it's the thing that's going to win you all your games.
Yes.
Its effect is that when during the battle that it attacks, it doesn't even have to be the Vanguard. Your opponent can guard with 0s.
Yes. So pretty much turns like all the grade 1s and 2s in his hands, they have to guard with those instead of like calling them out on the field or intercepting with them as well.
And if you can put an AK behind it, they have to drop 2 cards.
That is true, yes.
And it makes it even more. It makes Silent Tom even better if you put it in addition with stride.
Yes.
Because like they have to have 2 perfect guards for that turn.
Okay.
If they try and drop all 10.
Fuck that card.
Okay.
If they try and drop all 10Ks for your opponent's Vanguard, for your Vanguard,
Yeah.
and then they save the perfect card for this, it's a lot of shield out of their hand. At least like 6 cards if they only have 1 perfect card.
Pretty much, yeah. So it kind of like eliminates their use for stride targets because they don't want to take too much damage. And it's like, if anything, Tom doesn't have like field manipulation, but at least he has hand manipulation. So it turns like, you know, into a different guarding game.
And since it doesn't have to be the Vanguard, this can pick off rear guards.
Yes.
Like anything that this attacks, it will automatically kill it. I have not seen when I attack a rear guard with the Tom that they let it live.
Gotcha.
So it's good for like picking off stuff that's annoying.
That's good. Okay.
So it's your game finisher and your advantage card. And then let me explain why this deck is called Basic Gingers.
We already know Ginger part of it, but now
we run 4 10Ks. Wait. 7 10K vanillas.
So 7 10K vanillas. So I guess this is your optimal grade 2 target for ride?
Because the way that I looked at it when I was seeing OTT's options, there was no grade 2 that really satisfied that what I think that OTT needed.
Yes. Okay.
The Counterblast one. The Counterblast one hit boosted card is really bad because
the G-Break, yes.
Because you're wasting Counterblast for units that you could be using for your strides, which is much better.
That is true.
And the only other options were 11K attackers, which are 8K bases.
That's true, yeah.
But the thing that makes the 10Ks amazing is that it gives you another plus if they make you go first. Riding a 10K in the beginning with all the 10K shields that this deck has, because I can guess you know that this deck doesn't run draws.
Okay.
You can immediately just 10K no pass everything. There has been so many times during the Nationals that I played against Shadows. Let's just use that as an example. They attack me with Masquerade.
Yeah.
I would take the damage and then 10K no pass their Vanguard. So much damage that just gets saved by that is amazing.
Yeah.
And just 10K bases, like, people praise these for like everything, but they don't look at it as like what they are. It's like they can't get picked off by 9K rear guards.
Yes.
They sit on the board, but behind an 8K, they make 18K rows against cross rides, which is what this deck actually gets hurt by the most.
Yes.
And they're just defensive bodies. If anything rushes OTT, they're going to die. So you might as well run 10K bases just to save yourself from that.
Yeah, so at least in the early game, you got yourself some defense there. Alrighty, so your grade 1 lineup now.
4 unflipping PGs.
Alright, so unflippers, yes.
Before I was running the normal PGs.
Alright.
But because protecting Tom used to be like the most prevalent thing. You even dropped perfect guards for Tom before.
Yes, that's true.
But I noticed that the deck, it never unflipped at all. The more you could unflip with this deck to activate your stride skill, the better, because you're just adding more cards to your hand. So just giving yourself the option at least to like unflip damage, like abusing Susanoo as much as you can, just giving yourself the counterblast open to just get free cards just makes it better for the deck itself. So the unflipping is
it's
better. And like, I didn't play against a single Deep Police was the last one, but like, I mean, like, I didn't play against a single X that tournament. But,
okay, no cross.
But the way that I theorized it is that if they're gonna attack my rear guard, then they're just wasting. Well, the X at least, they're just wasting counterblast for the ace.
Yes.
They can get their two extra cards, but then they're gonna have less counterblast for the ace. And against Deep Police, they swing at me with a stride against my rear guard, sure, but then you got no offense after this perfect guard your Vanguard. So you essentially get 6 cards, but I only used 2 to stop your assault. That's how I looked at it. Okay. And
alrighty. So
perfect guards.
Yes.
And then we're gonna move on.
The other grade ones?
4 Stratasys.
Okay, so
this should be plainly honest. Because the deck wants to stride, so you play 4 Stratasys. Yeah. The OTT player who went undefeated day 1 actually only played 1 of these, which I found surprising. But I feel like that this card, the more you can get into Stratasys cards, the better it is for your deck. So just playing 4 is the most optimal thing to do.
Did you ever have a chance to utilize his grade 3-star skill for Susanoo, or you just use it for stride bait?
I used it a lot of times actually, because on the turns when I go off with CoCo, I have an excess amount of grade 3s in my hand, so I just call this down and then discard and then add 1, and then I can just play down my 10Ks, because these will make ideal booster for my 10Ks.
Yes.
So it's like, it's good for rushing early if you just happen to draw into all your grade 3s.
That's
and it's
true, yes.
never bad to thin out the deck with its search
definitely.
effect. But more likely than not, you're going to want to hold on to them in the hand.
Okay.
And I can't tell you how many times the signed one came in for me.
That loading sign. Okay. So the other grade ones of the lineup?
We get even more basic than this.
Okay. Oracle Guards, Guardian
4
Gemini.
Oracle Guardian Gemini, and then 2 Imperial Shrine Guard.
So that's 6 AK vanillas. How did you arrive at the magic number of 6?
Because again, I noticed that the grade 1s for this deck, there was nothing good to play.
Yeah.
Like nothing at all. The only thing that was prevalent at all beforehand was the basically the perfect guard for legions.
Yes.
The Weather Girl or whatever.
Oh, Weather Girl, yeah, the milk.
Oh no, the card that if a Vanguard attacked with a grade 2.
Oh, the Storm Girl.
Yeah, you would just be able to perfect guard your opponent's
without even discarding a card. Yes.
The more AKs you can add to make perfect columns with your Silent Thomas, the better for it. And again, these are great first turn rides.
Yes.
People don't understand. They can't remember back in the day how amazing it was to ride AK vanillas.
Yeah.
So it's like bringing it back.
It's like a reminder, yes.
Bringing it back, it's really, really prevalent. And it's funny because like, in the tournament, somebody rode Starlight Violinist against me, and I literally just called down 3 of these AKs.
Oh my god.
And 2 of the AKs and rode a Tom, and just swung at his face.
Oh my god. He didn't get 1 damage check, did he?
No.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
That's one of the reasons why I personally don't like Violinist as a card that AK. But the AKs for this deck, they're amazing.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, that's a grade 1 lineup?
This should be fairly obvious, so you just run through it real quick. 4 Psychic Bird.
Alright.
4 Assault Dive Eagle.
Yeah.
Because get them birds.
Yeah.
And then 4 Gingers.
So 12 crits. Alright.
This should be fairly obvious.
Yeah.
Since OTT doesn't need to draw, you might as well just crit them in the face.
Alright.
And your question.
Psychic Bird, how often have you actually used the skill?
It actually lost me a game.
Oh, wow.
It's prevalent if you can remember your stack because because this deck it doesn't play for it, but if you can just get Soul Charge it and draw your card, at least you can get into like the last few cards of your deck. Okay. And it plays a role in that. This isn't the card I usually like to keep in my hand because there's another trigger that I usually like to keep in my hand. But the draw is always nice. Since you're not playing 4 Soulless, if you're running low on like certain cards for your combo, there was times during the tournament where I Soul Charged this when I only had a Tom in my hand and drew the AK. So it does play in good terms for that.
Gotcha.
And I only play these because they're 5k crit triggers. Yeah. At least nice for boosting. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, because I always like Second Bird is there at least for the option just in case, and like if you remember the stack well, you got it. You make at least a pretty decent stack with the strides alone. All right, and finally the 4 heals.
The best heal in the game.
Lozenge Magus.
Hit me up with MSPs if you haven't.
Yeah.
But basically. Oh yeah, and this is another reason I love the 10Ks, but its effect is that while also being a heal, if it boosts one of your units, it gives it another +3, and then at the end of the turn it returns to the deck.
Alright, so big 6k boost and return back. Have you found yourself like shuffling them back, or?
Because sometimes when you're going through the rest of the course of the game, there's nothing in your deck that shuffles your deck besides this. So if there was points, like this didn't happen, but I was on stream, I don't know if anybody caught this. During my top 4 checks, I got 2 of these, and I had to like send these 2 to the bottom. So I had to call Las Vegas and then boost my unit just so I could shuffle the deck and get essentially 3 heals. But it didn't come up. But
that's like
it's better to like have your heals it's better to have your triggers scattered around your deck than just going to the bottom because you don't understand how much of the checking you do that like 5 triggers just end up at the bottom of your deck.
Gotcha. So you at least reset the stack and like hope for the best.
These are always the ones you want to hold on to.
Yes.
And I'm going back to the reason why I run 16k row.
16k, yeah, that's true. Magic number. Okay.
So, Boston Vegas is the best heal trigger for the deck. Alright. There's nothing more to say about that.
Alright, so that concludes the main deck. Now let's get into the strides. Alright.
Of the vanilla, the rare stride.
Okay.
The
Karen?
on hit.
Yes.
So essentially on hit you check top 2 and add 1.
Okay.
plus card. It digs deeper for your cards if you are looking for a perfect guard.
Yes.
And it has happened before. So it's a good card for first turn. There's not much more to say about that. I mean, your opponents are always going to guard this if they like.
Yeah, if they can.
So it's like when I stride into Kieran first.
Yeah, sorry
It's
about
alright.
that.
It's our low post. But
Yeah, I'm just getting started.
But on first stride, essentially, if they perfect guard this, then they're one out. If they don't, then I know they don't have a perfect guard because they always want to perfect guard this at the beginning. So it gives me knowledge at least if they have the perfect guard or not.
Yeah, and it gives you a free +1 well, so like you get 2 Susanoo skills off for the price of 1. Alright, so this one, Madu, okay.
People questioned me when they saw my deck list, why I ran Madu, and it's for the turn where you go first in riding with CoCo.
Yes, okay.
That because you would essentially draw 3, and then you would stride into Madu and get your grade 3 back. So essentially nothing happened.
So you just get a Trinity drive off, and then you're good.
Because it just makes it amazing that you can get a simple plus off of just drawing 3, striding, and then just get back your stride for like nothing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that Madu also played a part because CoCo's not the Vanguard you want to be on throughout the course of the game. It is Susanoo, but when you have to ride CoCo and the only stride you have is Susanoo, you could stride with Susanoo, ride into Madu, get this back, and then you attack, get hopefully more stride assist targets, ride Susanoo, and then keep striding next turn. That was literally the my thought process on why I wanted to run Madu, because it, like, if I had just Susanoo as stride assist, it at least gave me the option to still do it.
Gotcha. Okay. That's good.
I guess I'll get into this one last, but I'll just get onto the main one you're going throughout the course of the game.
Alright, the main stride, Take Mikazuchi. Okay.
1 SP.
Yep. Nice. Okay, but, so this guy, he does...
On any point during the turn when you have this on stride, you can counterblast 2 and unflip a copy, and if you have 2 or more in your face-up G zone, you check top 4 and add 2.
Okay. Yep.
It's essentially draw 2. Choice draw though, you're digging a lot with this card, which is what makes it amazing. Like the thing that makes this deck really strong is that with all the AKs you have, you're obviously gonna get those, but like digging for your toms, it's so easy. You don't understand because of this and like all the Kirans and Susanoo and stuff. You just dig so hard.
Gotcha.
It's essentially because you check let's say you use Susanoo and this in unison. You check 2 with Susanoo, you check 4 with this, and you drive check 3. You're getting 9 checks off of you to try and get a top.
Yeah.
So that's true. Consistency in that. And the game winner for most of my games,
Blizza. Okay.
Because while most people think that Tom does win the games, yes it does.
Yes.
But I'm gonna try and make the field right now. If you can establish a board presence of this, when your opponent is at 5 damage.
Let me just adjust the camera a little bit.
Yeah, because this happened a lot during the tournament. If you can adjust a field presence like this, you're most likely going to win the game. Because they have to save perfect guards for these.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that they can use. And then this thing, after using...
Like, you would use this guy after like 2 strides, right? This would be like your third?
After using these, and then you unflip 1 with Takamizuchi.
Yes.
It gets at least +20. And with a 5k booster, a Lulu, it's 26, 46, 51.
Yeah.
That is at least 5 10k shields out of your opponent's hand.
Well, 1 to pass even.
So,
yeah, I know.
At least that. That's what makes Blizza amazing is that it's a good push towards the end game.
Yep. So it's always there as an option.
How much time do we? How much time?
We're actually coming up around 19 minutes right now.
Okay, then I'll just go through my rounds in ARG really quick. Round 1, I played against Brawlers.
Brawlers?
I didn't lose against that because I top decked my grade 2 against them.
That's grade 3?
Grade 2.
Oh, grade 2. Okay.
Round 2, I faced off against Shadow Paladins, where I used my Psychic Bird to draw into I used Susanoo to check the only 2 crits I had left in my deck. I put 1 to the bottom, and then I couldn't drive check into that crit. So, and it was on the Blizza turn.
Okay, was this Abyss Revengers?
Yes.
Okay, Abyss Revengers.
Round 3, I played against Jewel Knight Sanctuary.
Jewel Knight Sanctuary guard?
Or no, it was just plain Jewel Knights.
Oh, just Jewel Knights basic. Okay.
Jewel Knights with just Royal Paladin stride and stuff.
Okay.
And I won against that. Then round 4, I played against Sanctuary Guard.
The actual Sanctuary Guard.
That was the game I said I dropped my AKs and I pushed in the damage, so that was the only reason why I won. Round 5, I played against Burns.
Burns, okay. So
and I outbeat him because CoCo into all my 10k offenses beat him out. And because Shadow Paladins seem to have a good match. I mean, OTT seems to have a good matchup against Shadows.
Yeah, at least with the basic card, the 10k vanillas, they helped you out a lot in that grade 2 game.
And what else was it?
So that was round 3 or?
That was round 5.
That was okay.
Round 6.
Yes.
I played against Aquaforce.
Yes.
And I won against that because last attack with Susanoo and it had a crit.
Ah, okay.
And I had to put up I don't know if you saw it, I had to put up a 2 to pass.
Oh.
That game, I had to put up a 2 to pass on him, and he got the crit,
but not the
not the second.
Okay, yeah, I saw that match. Yeah, so he had to bank on like trying to.
And it was with Savas.
And with Savas too, because you can't use zeros with that.
And then the last game was against the Sanctuary Guard.
Sanctuary Guard.
And I lost.
And you lost.
Sanctuary is just too much aggression for this deck. It's like insane.
Yeah.
And then I made 12th after all of that.
Okay, so 12th place.
And then next day I played against Robbie Cole.
Yes.
For top 16. It was first game he beat me because I didn't drop Perfect Guard.
Yeah.
Until I was at 4 damage and he broke road into Abyss.
Yes, that's his deadly time.
And then round 2.
Yes.
I literally had a field of he was at grade 1 and I went. My field was literally this. I went 7, 8, 10, and I got a crit on this.
Oh wow.
He was on 4 damage before he rode grade 2, so he just didn't want to play after that, and he just came. And then round 3, he had G assist.
He had G assist for grade 2 or grade 3?
Grade 3.
Grade 3?
No, grade 2.
Oh, grade 2.
He had all 3, like almost all 3s in his hand.
So he couldn't block it. Okay.
And it just won out from there because.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was getting my perfect guards in that round.
Okay.
And then top 8, D-Police.
Yeah, we have the stream match link in the description below, so if you want to check out at least a good portion of that match, you can feel free to.
Like no joke, it was a good deck. She was a good player, but like when I dropped Perfect Guard, she got the grade 3, and then next game she killed all my toms.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do, and I was hoping to put up a better fight, but she won and she deserved it. So
okay. All right, so that's a pretty good round by round breakdown. Well, at least made it, and you got the mat. This is pretty nice. The NBC beside Matt. So at least you were trying to rep New Jersey proud in that final.
Repping Gradelock, let's go.
Yeah, Gradelock. Alrighty, guys, that's it for the OTT deck profile. I'm probably gonna have this up hopefully by the end of this weekend. If not, maybe sometime during the middle, and then because I gotta do the edits, and I'll try and do the round by round breakdown. I'll put in like a picture or something to edit in just to signify each round that you had, and then we'll like take it from there.
Oh yeah, my cheerleaders.
Yeah, they're the Bermuda Triangle freaking cheerleaders.
The one who helped me win the game throughout the rest of the day. You don't understand.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. That's it for John and myself. If you have any more questions, you can feel free to comment down below, and then like I'll ask John myself, and I'll comment down below with his answers. Alrighty, guys. That is it for John and Alphonse's Team Gradelock signing out.